The flood walls didn't work. That was bad. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to City Skylines. In the previous episode, we worked on our train track, which you can see kind of zipping across in speed right now currently. After we finished recording the last episode, I left the game running and just kind of recorded a bit of a time lapse here so we could see actually how my traffic flows, as well as get some money going because we were having some money issues towards the end of the episode, which isn't a big deal. Again, my city is pretty self-sustaining currently thanks to a lot of my farming needs. But you'll see as we get into the later hours of the night, due to the rush hour mod, we do start to lose some money. But hopefully we can get that balanced out in a later episode. But for now, this time lapse is just to show you kind of the traffic while we got some money. And then in this episode, we're going to work on finishing off that sewage pit. So that entire area between the freeway and that train track is going to be a giant sewage pit with flood walls around it. And hopefully it will help to clear up the kind of the natural area, water areas I mean, and then we'll be able to better utilize that space for housing and commercial districts. Alright, so welcome back. I hope that actually gave you a good perspective into my city's traffic. Again, we are using that rush hour mod, so you can see when traffic does get busy. For whatever reason, it's busy at 11 p.m., but that could just be poor design of this. But I think that time lapse does give us a good idea of where we'll need to work in the future with traffic because it just kind of shows it off. The other thing I like about this is you do like make less money at night and more money during the day. More of a business perspective, which I think is good. So now that we're at some money and losing money, why don't I just spend it all while we're losing money? And hopefully we'll make it back. As soon as the daytime comes. So, what we're gonna do, like I said, is we're gonna get these flood walls up. Now I want to get these as close as possible to this, because I want to kind of maximize the space that we have here. So this should help. So I'm gonna get these right up against the train track. Although, against the train track is a little too close to this. There we go. So now, be able to get this to here. So these flood walls will, in theory, prevent the sewage from overflowing and ruining my entire city. At least that's the idea behind it, but in practice, who knows? So they do kind of add a, I don't know, a level of security, I guess, to make sure. But like I said, this could end horrifically anyway. So the flood walls are in place, and I'm gonna hopefully make this hole a little bigger. Now I would like to put a flood wall here as well, but I think I have to get rid of these train tracks to do that. Actually, I do want to curve this. I mean, I would like to keep that kind of universal and then just go like, maybe it will just fill in that hole for me. Height too high. I don't even know what that means. Height too high. It's lower, it's not even high. Okay, so we'll have to kind of flatten out the land here. If I go like this though, that's not gonna work. See, we're already losing all that money that we got from that little time lapse, so it shows you how much this really does. Okay, so that looks good actually. I like that. It was really loud over there. Alright, so then the next part will just be to kind of dig this out and get this whole kind of thing situated. As well as hopefully do something like this, which would look really good. Yeah, that's gonna look really good, I think. If I go like 3 in and then 3 out, is that, no, that's not enough. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do this Would look good. Because 3 is about the distance I can go. Space already occupied and shoreline required. So this doesn't qualify as a shoreline, I guess, because it's a slope of the hill. And you can see now that as we're getting into the daytime again, we're able to, can I smooth this out or what? As we're getting into the daytime, we're starting to make more money again, which is good. That's what we needed. So we'll smooth this out just a bit. Okay. I just have to kind of angle this part. I don't think I can. That's okay though. I think that looks pretty good. And then that will be emptied out as well. Now I don't know actually, now that I think about it, if I left enough room for these treatment plants. It does not look like I did. So I might have to just like move it forward, or I do really like that distance. Yeah, because that's gonna run into the flood wall every time. Unless, I wonder if I can do no collision on these. I can do no collision on these, and it does kind of look like they're coming out of the flood walls, which I think looks pretty cool, to be honest. So I think we're gonna do that. I do like that, actually. Again, I know it's a little cheaty, but I think it adds to it, because look at it now looks like it comes out of this wall, which would be where we pumped all of our stuff in, which is cool. Once again, we're down to almost no money, so we need to stop on this project, and I need to figure out why we're not making a lot of money and where we can cut some of our expenses for the rest of this episode. Again, our major expense is trash, and there's like no room to cut into that, unfortunately, because we just produce so much garbage, so I can't really lower the budget on that. However, I do know that road maintenance is a little expensive, and it does help with traffic, but you are able to lower how much you spend on roads at nighttime, which I think is good if we go down to about 50%. We don't really have a budget for transportation, so we'll take all of these down just in case there is anything. I don't think the freight trains count as one. Oh yeah, so freight trains do count as one of these. So we'll do 100% in the day and 50% at night, because we're not producing a lot. There's no expense for any of these because we don't have them. For parks, we're gonna take that down at nighttime. Same thing with police, fire, and all that. And this is kind of how it works in real life too, because there's not as much of a demand for stuff, so they kind of lower it. So hopefully that should help us make some money. And okay, so sewage was a bad idea, it looks like. Although it just sorted itself out. Did it? Is there a problem? No, there's a problem. Okay. So power and electricity apparently people still use throughout the day, so that was a bad idea. Or throughout the night, rather. So we'll leave those at 100%. That should hopefully fix that problem. Whoa. There's a lot of little bubbles. And it does look like we have a lot of crime now too, so I guess crime makes sense. Crime does rise at night. So we'll put that back up. And then I don't think many people die overnight. And then we'll put this to like 75%. And what's all this all about? I mean, there's literally a park right behind you. I don't know how. Oh, hi, I live at a park, you know, but who cares? Okay, so all of these houses are just worth nothing now. Well, welcome to the ghetto. Deal with it. Your house is worthless. I don't know really why there's suddenly low land value around here all of a sudden. Is it the parks? Maybe it's the parks, because they need to know how much their house is worth overnight, I guess. I don't understand. I really don't. Don't understand what the issue is. There's parks everywhere. Yeah, now everyone's complaining. So adjusting the budget was apparently just a stupid idea. Garbage will always stay at 100%, I guess. Keep this up to 100%. I really don't want to put the parks all the way up because they're expensive, but I guess everyone needs to know what they're worth overnight. Hopefully that will sort itself out in a second. I don't really understand what the issue is. Let's go to land value and look. I mean, not great, but it's decent. It's still worth something. Yeah, see, okay, so it just was the turning the parks down, and then the cops should be catching up with all that, and then, yeah, okay, so what I am gonna do now is we'll finish off this episode by finishing this hole. Hopefully, if I have enough money, we'll have to dump all the soil out. So let's get started with that. We do have to allow water to flow into here again, and I want to be very careful with it. Unlike last time, where we created Niagara Falls. That should allow the water to kind of trickle in, hopefully, and fill up this hole. So what I'm kind of wondering is if I were to leave this here, does that allow like a constant source of fresh water to come in? Or do you think there would be backflow from sewage and it would end up in our water supply? Because the new water comes from, you know, nowhere, right here. Flows out, and obviously some of it gets sucked into here. And the rest of it goes out into the ocean. That was why we have fresh water here first, and then the sewage water that gets pumped out into the gross ocean. Or the edge of the map. I don't know why. I don't think I've ever been able to zoom out so far where you could see the edge of the map. That's a little odd. But okay. I'm wondering if we leave this here and it just allows fresh water in, that we would be able to keep it kind of nice looking, or if it's just going to be a gross sewage pit, which again, this isn't meant to look nice, but serve a purpose, I guess, in a way. Let's see if I can put some of these walls up. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons right now. It looks like those flood walls are working pretty well at keeping the water in here, other than that stoplight, but whatever, that's fine. The flood walls didn't work. That was bad. And there's our whole sewage dump area, which is, I think, looks really good, actually. It turned out better than I anticipated. I would like it to be more square, but I think the curves kind of give it some more character. And then we'll just be able to dump all of our sewage into this, and in theory, we won't end up polluting too much, because by the time the pollution spreads to the barriers, then it's out there. So we'll have some ground pollution, but again, like I said, that's just oil below here, and we're not going to really deal with it. And then other than that, yeah, the water stays clean, and then over by the stupid power farm, which we'll get to shortly, we can get rid of these off the beach, which is good. Then we don't have to deal with that grossness. And I think that is gonna do it for this whole section. Maybe we'll add some trees to help with the pollution, but I don't think it will do much. But that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. If you have any suggestions, as always, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you next time.